Welcome back, YouTube. Welcome back to another video. And here we got Kara, full story of Detroit Become Human. This game, when I didn't play the game in 2018, but I seen someone else play it on YouTube. Favorite choice-based game ever. And here's why. There's so many games you could compare this to, the Quarry, Beyond Two Souls, but this choice-based game, the fact that you get to play as three characters alone is fantastic, but how it developed into the story, how like the concept they used to like how they even created the game in the first place is amazing. And Kara's story specifically, I feel like it's the saddest out of all of them. Just for the simple fact is, spoilers, but just for the simple fact is, at each scene that you get to play as Kara, she can almost die. In almost every scene, she can die. Like no matter what choice you choose, you gotta be very, very, very detailed on the choices that you pick. On like one wrong move and you're done with Kara. You don't get her back. And it's certain scenes like can almost make you cry. It's like it's so amazing how they even did this whole game. But I'm just gonna be doing Kara's story for now. And if you want me to do more, if you want me to do Marcus's and Connor's story, put them in the comments below. And I want to get into it, man. Let's get into it. Now, we had to kick things off with PlayStation 3's demo to introducing Kara a little bit, a couple of years back. And now I'm not gonna lie, I just found this, I researched this, and I just found this that they even did a whole Kara like introduction, and this is pretty good. For it to be in the works, or for Kara's version to be in the works, this is pretty impressive. And you can see the development. You can see the like what they was thinking. Like how they was gonna develop into Kara's story. You can tell where they was gonna go with this because it has potential. Let's be honest. Like if you look at the video, it each kind of steps is kind of like preparing you for almost like what you think is gonna happen in like a real movie. But I just want to go back to hear what Kara said in that video, like just so you guys can hear what I just heard just now.
Stay in line, okay? I don't want any trouble.
Thanks.
Now, with this game being heavily compared to Beyond Two Souls and the Quarry, there we go. This game literally takes that out the water. Like, not only do you get to play as three characters, but they each have great storylines that somehow cross over at the end, and then the ending is just pure. Now, even though it's a choice-based game, I'm basically gonna tell the story of how the developers kind of wanted how each story to play out. Like no matter good or bad or anything like that, I'm just gonna stay in the middle. I'm not gonna try to stick to one side. I'm always gonna find a way to for the story to actually make sense the way it's supposed to make it. If you get what I'm saying, you just have to play the game yourself. Like especially with the different options and choices you can do. This game is amazing. Like I'm telling you, like I can't wait to dive into um Kara's story because it's so good. And easily one of the saddest it's easily one of the saddest stories of the three characters. So let's get right into it. So we get to meet Todd through Kara's eyes, right? And from right now, he doesn't really seem like too fun of a guy to even be around. He looks broken and bruised and heart's broken. Before we even get to know him, or before we get to see what type of person he actually became. But nonetheless, we're looking throughout the city, the city of Detroit, look at how it became futuristic now. For right now, like when I first seen this scene, I was like, okay, this is a great opening, especially to a character that I've never seen before during that time. And this is pretty good. This is actually a great opening. Every time I see openings like this where we actually see the environment we're in, it gives me a great feel to see like how this is gonna play in towards the story. And I was right. The whole story behind Detroit Become Human is so great, and Kara's story tied into that is so sad. It's it comes for a great game or movie if you want to consider that. But I'm gonna just give you the background of how the story is so you can understand Kara's story, how it ties in. So we got androids, right? Created by humans, might I say, just to keep that in mind. And apparently androids is taking humans' jobs, but some people is more upset about it than others. And so some people tend to take it upon themselves to create a revolution of to keep these androids kind of like slaves, and they don't want them to wake up from this reality of that they're being used. But at the same time, I feel for the humans, and at the other side of the androids, it's also kind of sad of the position that they're in because it's not their fault. It's humans' fault that they're even here in the first place. So that's just a little background of like how I kind of feel about this whole humans versus android situation. But for it to be how Kara gets tied into it and how her story develops, it's actually kind of interesting, and you'll see why. So we get into the house, right, and we get introduced to Alice. She's kind of reserved, to herself mostly, kind of. But then, we try to talk to her a couple of times, and she's not feeling us right now. I don't even know why we have to do this, but we even got to clean the house. We got to do chores, but I understand it's for us to learn like the controls and stuff like that. But like doing this man's chores is like so disgusting because he leaves anything everywhere, and it's like this. It's just it's not fun at all. But at least we got introduced to Alex. That's one good thing. But as we know for right now, this is gonna be a truly horrific and sad point in time for Kara, even though this is new for her. But you'll see why in a second. Here, I'm about to
Daddy, no!
It's all your fucking fault!
Now here we have Todd going crazy as usual, having a mental breakdown and putting hands on his only daughter, right? Now, of course, you have many different decisions that you can do leading up to how you massively take down Todd, right? But it's really interesting how there's this scene where it basically shows you that Kara doesn't want to follow the instructions of a normal program, and then she breaks out, right? You have to do that in order to save Alice, right? And then we get to this fire scene where you have to basically fight Todd. But of course, Kara only has so much android strength. She's not really an android made for fighting. So it's basically hand in hand until we come to this conclusion. So to catch up a little bit, so we don't take too long on this video, Kara and Alice get on a bus while Todd is screaming, "She's mine, she's mine, she's mine," um, and then eventually they have to get off the bus because they can't stay there. So we're at the point where they're trying to find a place for the night. We're at the point where they're trying to find a place for tonight, and some odd android just comes and just helps them. Give them a little look, like watch their back type stuff. So later on, when Kara finds a place to stay, we end up meeting one of the three main characters of this game, which is Connor, right? And of course, I'm not gonna show any scenes for this because it doesn't pertain into really Kara's story and these decisions that like whatever part you stay in, the outcome is different. So I'm gonna leave that one alone. But that's basically what happened. So we meet this guy named Slocko, right? And he lives in this creepy house where this android said that he can help us across the border. So we like, okay. So we talking to him, we're explaining our situations and how we have a tracker on us, and he said he could get the tracker off. We just come to his basement, right? And I'm like, okay. So we trust him for the meanwhile. So it turns out this dude was already sneaky from the start. The android gave us false claims, I guess, because he actually does experiments on his victims, on androids, and he doesn't help them at all. But it's okay. It's okay. It's okay because we got something for him in the end. So Kara finally makes it outside, right? We went through the back door and everything. And this is another android, Luther, that he had him under control. And he's finally waking up and taking control of the situation, right? But not only that, but Kara have released some experiments that he's been working on other people. They actually was able to rise up against him and take him down. So it was actually great to see him finally being taken care of after he's been messing with these androids for however long it has been. And now we have Luther to join on. He's joining on the adventure now. He's part of this. He's part of Kara right now. He's part of her squad. Let's just say that he becomes part of her her journey, and we'll see what happens from there. So right now we have Luther and Kara basically found a place after they left Slacko, and they just finished putting Alice to bed. And Luther is basically about to tell Kara, have he noticed anything about Alice, right? And then all of a sudden, right, you got all these it looks like androids just trying to break through the door, you know what I'm saying? And and they just here apparently because humans hurt them, every once in a while, so you have to check out and make sure who it is, right? But thankfully it wasn't nothing bad, and they was actually all nice people. So eventually we get to meet Rose, who can actually help us cross the border, and we meet her son, which doesn't really like androids all that well. So eventually we get settled down into the house, where we go upstairs, we tuck Alice into bed and see if she wants some food. She said she's not hungry, and there's this scene where it kind of shows what Alice really is, but of course Kara doesn't pick up on it, but Luther does. Luther does. He always does. And then we go downstairs and we talk to Rose, and then that's basically how I'm gonna ending off it right now. So Rose has two androids that she was trying to help get across the border, but I guess she didn't have enough time to get around to it. So eventually, one of the androids dies, and we have this sad moment of them realizing that they wasn't even gonna make it together. And during that, yeah, he actually one of the androids actually starts to cry, and it's actually they're actually getting, this is around the time where they're actually like feeling emotion, like other than what's inside their program, and they're actually feeling like this feeling that they can't express. And so he ends up crying. And after that moment is over, Alice comes out of her room because she wasn't tired. It's pretty basic, but after all the signs we've been seeing, it's kind of getting obvious, well, like what she is by now. So as we can see, it seems like Alice and this android is having a one-on-one right now, and it looks like he's able to connect to her somehow. But of course, Kara's not realizing that. She didn't even realize that his emotions really changed from angry to happy. So here in this scene, we have Rose and Adam kind of going back and forth. And basically, Adam's argument is that we shouldn't care for these androids and we shouldn't be helping them at all. We should just let them fend for themselves. And Rose is basically right on depending on the side of of right, that they shouldn't be kept as slaves. They should be free. And Adams just says his rude comment saying that if Dad was here, this wouldn't be like this. And Rose kind of gets a little bit angry, and yeah, that basically shuts down the whole argument. Here we have another scene of Luther trying to tell Kara who Alice really is, but of course Kara doesn't want to hear it because she's too paranoid of people finding out that she's an android. So of course a police officer stumbles at the front door, right? And you have to hide all the evidence. That's one of the choices. And so after this moment happens, Rose urges them to leave as soon as possible because they can't no longer stay here. It's not safe for nobody anymore. So we gotta go basically. Now Rose basically takes us to this shipwreck where we get to kind of meet Marcus a little bit. So she gathers up any money that she had on her, so we can basically stay at her brother's house. But unfortunately that didn't happen, and we ended up staying here because Marcus told us to. So yeah, that's how that went. Here we go again. We have another scene of Luther trying to tell Kara about Alice, and she just wouldn't listen for 2 seconds. If she would have listened to him talk for at least 2 seconds, she would have knew about Alice already and how this wouldn't have changed anything. But of course, the moment has come, ladies and gentlemen. The moment has come when Kara finally opens her eyes and finally sees that this is Alice, that she is an android. We see this cutscene to where she's flipping through the pages in Todd's house and actually finds his magazine where there's a child robot. A robot that they had this in the making for a perfect child, for a perfect family. That Todd had an android daughter. And now this only brought them closer together. Finally, this is what we needed. This is the moment that we finally needed. This is what we needed. So as the ship is basically being crumbled into pieces, Luther ends up getting shot, right? And this still goes with the storyline of you having to choose. Like he'll still be alive by the end of this, but it depends what you choose, obviously. But this part you could keep him alive. So we ended up having to leave him, and he says goodbye to Alice and Kara. And in the next scene, if you guys remember, if you remember the house we was at when those androids were trying to break into the house and they showed Alice a good time, by the merry-go-round, we had to save him and Luther. So Kara walks behind him, hits him with a brick. Boom, we saved them both. And then we end up trying to get passports so we can head over to Canada, so where we could be free. So we get to the terminal, right? And basically they're doing temperature checks. So they're basically in a tough spot and they could be compromised. But surprisingly, we seen one of the people that was attacking us at that house and gave us a good time. I think their name is Jerry. Because there's multiple and their same name is Jerry. So Jerry possibly could help you in the situation, and Rose was there also, so she could have helped you in the situation as well. Because she wanted to get out of the city, get out of Detroit too. So it's basically a lot you can play with in this situation. The outcome is mainly, there's only 2 decisions that come down to it, but it's mainly the same. And this scene, this is a great scene. We have Kara crying, basically, sharing her, actually feeling her emotions without actually letting everything out, without having to feel the pressure of getting caught or anything. She's just letting it all out in this scene right here. Valerie Curry is an amazing actress for this representation of Kara and how she feels in this exact moment. It's so genius, and it's a great it's a great development to her basically her character arc, going from this basically staying with Todd and basically them showing how she's very obedient, very like a normal android, and then going to deviant side and basically using her anger out and doing what she wants to do this time instead of having other people control her, and into being this very sad and depressed person. Well, not depressed, but very conserved and basically to herself, more her own thing. And this scene shows this very much. This game is amazing. And then we get this heartwarming speech from Adam, saying that he was wrong and he supports us, and basically any other person that would probably say this that was was wrong in the beginning and probably say this at the end, normal type person. But it doesn't really mean anything because it was way too late for him to for him to be on our side anyway. It's it was just a waste. But I do understand why it was in the games, because it was still needed, I guess. Now, before I end this is a lot that could happen in this scene. There's many different choices or outcomes that could happen from this last scene, because as Kara, anything can happen. You might not make it, by almost anything. But anyway, I'm gonna show the scene that's you think that the developers kind of wanted the path to go as. But yeah, we make it right. He scans our IDs and stuff like that, and basically by the luck of the grace, he either I'm gonna tell you the choices. So I'm gonna show you the choices at the end. So so we can move this along even faster. But he either looks at the TV and sees what Marcus is doing, doing like peacefully protesting, either that, or he basically we basically beg him, or have mercy on us, because we just want to be free. And yeah, so either that or he gets distracted. But yeah, and either than that, we make it to Canada. You know what I'm saying? Well, me, Luther, every like the whole gang. But for you to honestly like understand and get like the symbolism, or like even get all the endings, and even each ending is very political, is very important anyway, because it shows that not almost anything can happen, yet nothing is guaranteed. So any option you get is basically not it's not really bad or good. Like, it's not really bad. So yeah.
Valerie Curry. APC 89750 4C.
Move your head.
No, I feel perfectly fine, I assure you. Everything is all right. I answered all the tests correctly, didn't I?
Well, there you guys have it. Kara's story, Detroit Become Human. This is basically a breakdown of how Kara became Kara, her behind the scenes, her backstory. Um, I was just basically focusing on her alone, not really the main other three characters. But if you want me to do Connor's and Marcus's, please drop them down in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. The support, everything. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. I'm out.